dude, if I...
Mommy Panky, I want to see Futanari, and hear you scream, Mommy.
God, I hate you guys. You know what? All right, you know what? Fine, fine. We can watch Futa. So we're gonna watch Professor Lando. I've been meaning to watch this for a while now. We're gonna watch Professor Lando explain Futanari to us. All right, Professor Lando, please take it away, gamer. We need your vision. We need your knowledge, gamer. Okay. Now, please explain to the general populace what Futanari is.
Hello, students. My name is Professor Lando, and welcome to the esteemed 𝓯𝓾𝓽𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓻𝓲.
Okay.
Today's lesson, we're taking a look at a very important topic, and that is one on Futanari. Yes, Futanari.
Yes, my favorite.
And also, why exactly why do we like it so much? That's what
we. I love how straight out of the gate he just immediately says we like it. I'm like, yes, yeah. Nothing but respect for my president. Yes, sir. We all stand up. We all salute to Professor Lando. Yes, sir. We all say unison. We all love Futa.
What we're striving to answer today. So please, again, take a seat, open up your notebooks, and let's begin class.
I love Futa. Oh,
like I said, students, today we are going over Futanari. It is a genre of explicit Japanese material, aka hentai,
yes,
where a character or characters has both female and male explicit parts. Usually,
they are a female who has the female bits, but they also have male genitals,
body parts. Now,
yes.
What do I mean exactly by this? Well, I'll give you an example here. Let's take a female character.
Okay.
Chun-Li.
Okay.
And we
absolutely
compare it to a male character. For example, someone
Futa
like
with balls. So true.
Naruto. Now, when it comes to Futanari, in its most basic description, it describes a character that is intersex, having both parts. Now, you could take this as a traditionally female character like Chun-Li having a phallus, or a male character having breasts, for example.
Yes.
But when it comes to Futanari in practice, out there on the field, we find that more often than not, the majority of the media is going to be female characters.
Yes.
With the addition of male parts, conceptually speaking, and not male characters with female parts.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever looked up Futanari porn and have ever seen like a guy with boobs like as Futanari. Like when I look it up, it's always 100%. It is always a female character with a dick. That is always what it is, and that is always what it is, has been.
Now, don't get confused. There could be some crossover here with Rule 63, male characters and or female characters being
gender
changed into the opposite gender in fan-made media, fan art, and whatnot. But we are talking about Futanari. Now, before we get deeper into this subject, I'd like to get deeper into this subject.
You're so real for that, Lando! You're so real!
You know what? Futanari is a genre in Japanese explicit fictional works.
Yes.
So when we talk about Futanari, it is in the context of fiction. And although there might be some loose associations with this word to some real-life cultural things many, many years ago, today, in modern times, and in the context that I'm teaching you about, Futanari is not to be used to describe real-life people.
Yes, it is just for fictional stuff. I think if you went up to a trans girl and called her a Futanari, I think you would genuinely get your shit kicked in. Like, I'm being so serious. Never do this. Never do this! Bad! Base Lando for saying this, by the way. So true, gamer. Happy Pride Month. Nothing but respect for my president.
Trans people, specifically.
Yes.
Now, there might be some trans people that associate positively with this word. Who am I to say? Who am I to really know? But generally speaking, I think we would all agree that Futanari, to describe real-life people, would be pretty distasteful. All right, you hear that? It's lunchtime, students. So before we get onto the rest of this lecture, let's get some brain food in us. Oh, I don't know about you students, but I
confirm I'll beat them up. Thank you, Jade.
Luckily, 𝓯𝓾𝓽𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓻𝓲 University offers a very nutritious diet plan for its faculty and its students.
All right.
Now, before we eat, I think this is a good opportunity to learn something important about Futanari for you visual learners out
Oh my God, his plate. No!
there. Now, when it comes to Futanari, there are three.
I was so set on this being a HelloFresh ad, and I was about to like lock out of this and just be like, I'm gonna let the ad play out, but I'm not gonna pay attention at all. And then I realized what's on his plate, and I said, oh my God, this is part of the video.
Three main types of physical appearances of a Futanari character. We're going to use these food items as stand-ins for the explicit body parts you might find on a Futanari character. First off, we have a banana, or a phallus, a schlong, schmeat, the girth, member, length. And to go along with this banana, we have two tangerines, and they go at the base of the banana like so. And this represents the male package, as you can guess.
Abs.
And in a Futanari character, this replaces the normal female accoutrement that you would usually find.
My personal he's gonna actually, I'll talk about it when he gets to it. But I'll talk about what my favorite type is.
And they come in different shapes and sizes like they do in real life. They come just like this, girthy, way above average length, that's for sure. And maybe sometimes they come with a little bit of that skin missing at the top.
Yeah.
And they say that loses some sensation for the banana, but I think they make do. And so that's going to be the first version of a Futanari character that we might run into. And so what we have next is this donut. That's going to represent the female body part usually found in explicit material.
Yes.
Right there. This delicious donut.
Why is he fingering it like that? Stop ripping the donut, dude. Stop.
Right there. And so
Lando, no!
the second form of a Futanari character in the physical appearance of it, instead of the
Dude, the way he spread that donut, dude, Lando, I'm begging you, please. Just one night, please. One night with me, brother. I'm begging!
standard male package, you remove the tangerines, no tangerines, and in place of it would be the donut.
Okay.
The female entrance where it normally would be, but with a banana protruding.
Yeah, so, yeah, this is the second type. It's literally just coochie and then the schmeat. Just in,
I can be Lando's footer.
It's the coochie, and then just above like the top part of the cooch is the peener
from the top. Arguably, this is a more niche version compared to the standard male package being on a Futanari, but otherwise popular within its own community. And for the third version of Futanari character,
it's the full package.
Combine our entire meal. And
it's the full package.
Balanced, nutritious diet. We're going to have the standard male package, like so, resting upon our donut. Now, this might seem a little gluttonous to you, but to some people, this is their preference.
This is my favorite. No, this is my favorite. When it's schmeat, it's the balls, and then right, like tucked like underneath the sack is the cooch, right? It's like you lift up the sack and it's like boom, we got cooch. That's the best one, dude. Oh my god, that's the best one. That's the best one when it's schmeat, nuts, and then cooch. And where the cooch is hiding under the nuts, dude. That is the best one in my opinion, because you get the best of like every world there. You get coochie, you get balls, which are hot, and then you get meat. So you're getting everything with that one. Coin slot and joystick. Yes.
And we can't argue that this is definitely a pillar of the Futanari genre.
Yes, that's my favorite.
I think whether or not you prefer.
I'm okay if it's just like the full package Futa, where like all they have is like penis and balls and like no coochie, but like I definitely much prefer if it has penis, balls, and coochie.
Prefer your tangerines with your banana, no tangerines with your banana. I think we can all agree that when it comes to Futanari, it's all delicious.
Dude.
Well, that
You're so real! I love you, Lando! Nothing but respect for my president! I love you! Lando is so based. Dude, I want to do that to some fucking Futa bitch right now.
Answers the question of what is Futanari,
Yes.
but not why Futanari. And what do we mean by why Futanari? Well,
Okay.
why is it so popular? Let me give you some metrics here for reference. We're going to be pulling from main sources, two
Okay.
main websites where Japanese explicit media, as well as other types of explicit media, are hosted. And that would be these two websites right here. Now, for liability's sake, I'm not going to tell you exactly which websites these are.
I'm gonna assume so rule34.xxs or like whatever the thing is. And then it's N hentai, right?
But I will say that these are the two most popular websites for hosting Japanese explicit media, as well as other types of explicit media.
That's
This one
logo,
being
yeah.
for images, and this one being for doujins, or the comic manga version. And on the first website, there are 603,603.
Whoa! I bet all of it's like AI though now, because like I can't go to Rule 34 anymore without 90% of the website being flooded with fucking AI. And it's so cringe.
39 individual results for the word Futanari. And for the doujin site, there are 35,416
That's crazy.
individual works posted with the tag Futanari. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's a lot of Futanari. Now, the question is why? Why do we like Futanari so much? Well, the key thing here is projection. That's the term that I use to describe the phenomena at play here when it comes to Futanari. Much like how Charles Xavier,
AI food is
famed
bad,
telepath
absolutely.
leader of the X-Men, might project his conscious mind.
It's bad for artists just like morally, and then also it just kind of sucks in general. Like none of it's that good.
From one X-Men to another person. What
the fuck is he doing?
Big fat. That's the type of projection I'm talking about here. Now let me go more into depth. The key appeal of the Futanari genre
You're the ultimate life form. Clearly you haven't met a Futa before.
is understanding what it feels like to have your chicken choked. So I think the tabooness and the appeal of Futanari comes from having that sensation that men are so intimately familiar with and projecting it onto a female character, a female form, and having that character experience, know what it's like to have that pleasure. That's the taboo.
Dude, the way he's handling that ruler is crazy.
Futanari comes into play. Basically, the appeal of Futanari can be summed up in this way. Hey, I know what it feels like, and I like that she knows what it feels like, but she's not supposed to, and that makes it hot. That's the projection I'm talking about. It's witnessing these female characters experience the same pleasure that I feel, with a little bit of tabooness.
So, the pipeline for me went that, like, you know, originally, like, okay, when I first got into, like, you know, when I first got into, the hub, or, you know, lewd materials as a kid, right? It started off with me going to the hub, and my go-to video type was like stepsister, right? That was my go-to video type. It was always stepsister is like the stuff that I would go to. Unsurprisingly, it was stepsister videos. Like it's like the family therapy, I love stepsis, or like whatever fucking brand of like stepsis bullshit. Like whatever fucking brand of stepsis bullshit was on the menu for the day, right? And then one day I was scrolling the hub on the main tab, and this thing called a joy popped up. For anyone that doesn't know, it's basically instructions that someone gives you for cranking your hog. So you just watch the video and they tell you and give you instructions on like what to do. And you watch it until completion, right? So I stumbled across a joy one day just on the main page, and I was like, oh, this is like, oh my god, this is so hot. I want to look up more joys. So I went to the hub and I looked up joys, and one of the first joys I found was called Futanari Joy, right? So I watched it, not knowing what Futanari was, and I see all of these girls that have penises. And so now, at the time, I was someone who was very adamantly a straight person. And I was like, I would never be gay. I hate gay people. Gay people are weird. And here's me sitting down watching a Futanari Joy, and I'm getting turned on. But I'm like, no. Here's what I gotta do. I gotta watch the entire Futanari Joy. In my head, I'm being so serious when I said this. In my head, the way to stop like having these weird homosexual feelings in my head was to watch this Futanari Joy over and over until I was able to get through the entire thing without nutting. Now, spoiler alert, I was never able to finish the entire thing without nutting, right? So every single time I watched the video, I said, today's gonna be the day that I watch this joy, and I'm gonna stop being gay. And then about 10 minutes into this like 20-minute joy, I'd bust and I'd be like, fuck, I failed again. I guess I gotta try again tomorrow. So yeah, and exposure therapy turned hypno. Yeah. Now, what do I like about Futas? I'm gonna be honest. Seeing girls with balls is really hot. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. Girls with balls are really hot, right? And it's like this weird way of being like, it's not gay. I swear, she's a girl, but she has a penis, so it's fine. What is the link to said video? I have it. Oh, don't worry, I have it. I still go back to it to this day because it's fucking peak.
Students, I'll ask you this. Why do we all like MILF so much? Well, we all have a mother or can relate to some sort of motherly experience, positive or negative.
It's not gay, Copium.
Why do we all like furry so much? Well, I think it's because we all
Actually, he's so real for that. Unfortunately, I did jerk off to gay furry hentai last night as like what I decided to that is what I decided to bust to last night was gay furry porn. So
have a innate primal nature harkening back to our pharaoh ancestors that we all want to tap into and go, I want to tap it. And that's why we like Futanari so much. It's because it's relatable. It's universal.
For men.
And so intellectual detractors might say, hey, Professor Lando, if it's about relatability, then why wouldn't you just watch men? Isn't that the ultimate relatability? That's because we're missing out on the taboo element. Men beating it, well, I beat it. I've been beating it my whole life. Also, why would I watch men? What, am I gay?
A hard question. Better be extra hard, Lando.
To answer this question, I want to take a look at one of my favorite scenarios. So what we have here is a visual representation for Plato's allegory of a cave. In regards to hardcore Futanari, I ask you this question, students. Are you the prisoner or are you the onlooker? What exactly are you lusting for? Are you lusting for the concept, the idea, the projection and relatability of the phallus on the female character? If so, then I purport that it is not gay. However, if that is not the reason you like Futanari,
right,
then there could be a whole nother discussion to be had. And maybe, just maybe, it might be gay. Okay, now
look, I'm not gay. No, I'm not gay. No. It's not gay to like Futa.
So,
I don't want to hear it. No, I don't want to hear it.
Purport that it is not gay. However, if that is not the reason you like Futa,
joystick, it's not even a question.
Then there could be a whole nother discussion to be had. And maybe, just maybe.
No, I'm not gay.
Might be gay.
No, I'm not.
Okay, now we're going to talk about something called the Futanari pipeline of self-discovery.
I'm going to get called out so fucking hard, I can feel it. So, okay, before we get into his pipeline, I'm going to say my pipeline and we're going to compare and contrast. So my pipeline went, so my pipeline went. So after the Futa Joys that I watched, it was, well, they have a penis, so like, you know, I got more and more used to like seeing like cranking my hog to feminine characters with penis, and then eventually down the line, I started to crank it to femboys, right? Like Hidere specifically, very specifically was Hidere, right? And I kept telling myself, oh, like, I'm not gay. It's just like, it's like femboys is like Futa, but like they just don't have boobs since like they look like girls anyway. And eventually I had to admit to myself, I think I might like penis. I think I might like penis.
So how does this diagram start? Well, it starts with the most basic exposure. Hentai. Perhaps the first stage because of how accessible it is, especially with how provocative the visuals can be, mostly being animated media.
Yes.
This could be discovering a certain Teen Titans animation on Newgrounds, or perhaps in a clip of some sort of animated, explicit Japanese fictional work. But eventually you go on to the next stage, which is doujins, a slew of content that you never knew existed before. The volumes are comparable to a Library of Alexandria, the sort of Library of Alexandria of the modern age. When it comes to the animated works, this is the clickbait of the not safe for work pipeline. Because although there are some fantastic animated works, generally speaking, these are not the best. In hindsight, of course, when you're first discovering
I think he's wrong for that. Lando's like straight up wrong for that. There are some pretty fire, like, no. There are some pretty fire, like, hentai, just like animated works.
That's where the meat is at. The care each panel has, the amount of work that can be explored, is why doujins is the next stage. Where do we go from there? Well, now we discover SFM or 3D.
Oh no!
Never underestimate the human potential for evolution, students.
Overwatch, Futa, Overwatch, Widowmaker, Fucks, Futa, Tracer. And it's like they both have the biggest fucking nuts ever. Both of them are caked up. And yeah.
SFM, or Source Filmmaker, which is a 3D software developed by Valve, or other 3D programs such as Blender 3D, most popularly, I believe, allowed people to create a whole new world of not safe for work media. 3D renders, 3D animation, taking the 2D planes, which have been available in doujins and in the animated 2D work.
And then you gotta think about it like this. The further down this pipeline you go, the more and more, I guess, like, realistic it looks. And when I say, I'm gonna say realistic in, like, the most loosest of terms, because it's like, obviously, like, hentai is like, that's anime, right? It's different. Then when you go to doujins, like, there are some pretty good visuals that are like there's a lot of people who have pretty accurate fucking proportions with their bodies, right? Then you go to SFM and 3D, and then it's like, oh, they're starting to look a little bit more human and not anime as anime. And it's like, oh, well,
bring them into a whole new dimension. Source Filmmaker, Blender. Part of this is being able to take community-made models, assets, and the sheer productivity, the sheer output going down this pipeline. What is inevitable as a next step? If you are consuming SFM or 3D media, you are bound to discover Futanari. Yes, Futanari. Because Futanari, although apparent in both...
I thought he was talking about Futa hentai specifically. Like, we're talking about Futa hentai, and then we go to doujins, and then we go to Futa SFM. I didn't know he was just talking about, like, regular hentai doujins as SFM. But, like, yeah, that makes sense, but... You know.
Doujin works and in animated works.
I understood it wrong.
And seems to be particularly present within 3D works.
It is. Like, if you go to, like, SFM or 3D works, big majority of them have Futa in them. Like I said, Overwatch is the biggest killer for this, where it's like if you get into like 3D Overwatch stuff, you are going to see Futanari animations no matter what. It will happen.
Now, not saying that you can't skip a step here. Perhaps you might find your way more prevalently in doujins than animated, but still possible. Perhaps there are some works I'm not too familiar. Maybe you can
I went straight from hentai to Futa. That's where I went.
send me some just so cross-reference. So what are we talking about here? Well, when you go down this pipeline up to this point here, you might be somewhat normal. As normal as you can be after discovering what these are.
That fast?
But upon
Why do you think I'm such a fucking queer?
discovering Futanari, I think
Amount of times I've seen Diva or Mercy with a massive 3D schlong is insane, but fuck, dude, it's hot. It's so fucking hot.
as a newly initiated person, you might be thinking, oh, hey,
It's
don't
weird.
hate it. Maybe.
Maybe.
Kind of like it.
Yeah.
So whether you follow the standard flow or perhaps find yourself off the beaten path a little bit, you get to this point and you have to admit something to yourself. Hey, kind of like that. And where do we go from here? On an entirely separate pipeline.
You have too much drip to be hetero, Panky, that's for sure. Shut up! I never liked Futa. Futa, okay. I'm gonna say it. Futanari is like my favorite tag. Like, other than, like, we all know, if you're a Panky fan, we all know what my favorite tag is, but Futa is, like, a very close second spot to that, right? Futa is really, really close. Holy shit. Dude, Futanari stuff goes fucking crazy. Just... yours is wrong. Futa is SSS plus tier. So I've talked about this before, but like I was a really big ERPer back in the day, like back in like high school. Now, do I do it on occasion nowadays? Rarely, but yes, I do it on occasion. Mostly just like text-based ERP. I will admit, you know, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I feel like going back to a good old classic in the form of ERP, right? But that's pretty rare, right? It's pretty rare. Whenever I ERP'd, I would always play as a femboy or a Futanari character. And that was because if you played as a femboy or a Futanari character, you would get a lot more people who would message you asking to ERP with you. And so I would just play Futanari characters, mostly Futas, because like I found Futa, like I was like, oh, Futas are kind of nice though. So like I would play a lot of Futas, and me playing Futas with like other Futa like characters or like people that ERP'd with, dude, sent me into the stratosphere. Holy shit.
You could see something like this happening.
Oh, absolutely.
Whoa, wait a minute. Now, instead of liking female characters, those are just dudes.
Yeah, that's how it went for me, where it's like I liked Futanari, or I got into Futanari, and then I just like suddenly it's like in my head I'm like, well, femboys are just Futanaris but without the boobs. And then I was cooked. I was just fucking cooked. Holy shit. I was cooked. I was done for, guys. That's how I became gay. It was a pipeline from Futanari characters to femboys, and then femboys to everything else.
But hey, I think students, what you're saying is, but Professor Lando, no, they're feminine. They're breedable. They're submissive and or.
No, Lando, please don't do me like this.
Well, once you're at this stage, there is a way you might find yourself even deeper. F it, I just like men. Now,
I'm so fucking cooked. I just got so called out. No, Lando, please not like this. Lando, please not like this. No.
Obviously, what I'm trying to say here
brother.
is not that Futanari is going to turn someone bi or gay. You can't turn someone into something they're not. You can't change them. You can't turn them into being gay or bi.
Okay, that's wrong, because I was gaslit by my entire family for years in middle school that I was gay. Like, every time I pull up to a family function, Panky, are you gay yet? Panky, you give gay vibes. Panky, you like men, you just don't know it yet. And my friends would say the exact same shit. Panky, you're a fucking queer. You're the most closeted gay person we know. Brother. I was gaslit into being gay. I was gaslit.
But maybe this might reveal what's inside. Okay, now we're going to talk about the different types of subgenres within Futanari that you might run into. Okay, so the first subgenre that you're probably going to run into the most is going to be Futa on female.
Futa x female and Futa x Futa is my preference. Futa x male or male x Futa just isn't really my thing. And when, like, you may say, what's the difference between Futa x male or male x Futa? The first one is the top and the second one is the bottom. So,
and an example of this would be Tsunade and Shizune from Naruto.
Yes.
Tsunade here being the Futanari character and Shizune being the standard female character. Now the reason I've chosen these two characters to
Futa on Futa is just so peak in my head.
Demonstrate this scenario is because within the canonical material, the series Naruto, Tsunade and Shizune are a pair. They're friends. Shizune serving as an aide to Tsunade, who is the Hokage for a time, and introducing the Futanari aspect within this pairing specifically, and other types of female and female pairings that you might usually see in the source material, it is able to take their relationship and introduce this sort of new flavor to it. Now, there already is fan-made content of explicit nature, right? Being images or doujins of these two characters and other female characters partaking in coitus, lovemaking, and that already
my personal favorite Futa x female like doujins are the Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid ones, where it's like either a Futa Toru with a female Kobayashi, or it's the other way around where it's a Futa Kobayashi with a female Toru, or just like Futa Kobayashi with any character in the show. Like, dude, that goes fucking hard. Those doujins are so good. Holy shit.
Is a sort of rush and tabooness in itself, but introducing that next level, whether it be Futanari or something else, you're taking it to that boundary. All in all, when it comes to Futanari, this
Raven and Starfire, they're pretty popular.
Stuff. Okay, so the next subgenre that we're going to take a look at is Futa on Futa.
That's my favorite.
Okay, so the example I'm choosing here is Cammy and Juri from Street Fighter. So obviously in this subgenre, Futanari on Futanari, you take two characters that are usually portrayed as female in the source material, and they are both Futanari characters. What I think really sets this subgenre apart from...
Wasn't there a canonical episode where Kobayashi gets a cock? Yes, Lulu played a prank on Kobayashi and gave her a cock. So...
the others is the combative nature of it, as opposed to the first one, Futa and female, where there is a very clear give and take in the relationship. I enjoy the sort of clashing that might appear in Futanari and
clashing is an interesting way to say it, but yeah.
Futanari. That's why I've chosen these characters from a fighting game. Street Fighter, of course, Cammy and Juri. It's sort of a battle, and that's where the fun is. Okay,
exactly.
And the last subgenre that I'm going to cover is Futa on male, or Futanari on male.
Lando needs that.
Okay, my example for this would be 2B from Nier Automata, and me, Professor...
I'm sorry, that's so good. Oh, Lando, you're so real. You're so real.
Professor Lando. The traditional role that men often find themselves forced into by societal norms is one where men are predominantly the acting force, specifically in relationships. But sometimes we need these roles reversed.
Yes.
What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes men might like the door held open for them. Or maybe sometimes they would like to be the ones to get a compliment.
Or maybe sometimes they want their butt to be fucked.
Or maybe sometimes they would like the other person to pay for the check at dinner time. And sometimes they want Futanari to plow them like the fertile lands of Mesopotamia.
You're so real! You're so real!
So it is in this way that Futanari on male might be the most complicated, but perhaps the most rewarding of the subgenres.
I like Futa X male, just not as much as Futa X Futa. Or Futa X female, but Futa X male is good in its own right if I imagine it's me.
Of Futanari. And I've been speaking mostly on Futanari on male, but of course this implies that the male could top the Futanari character.
Yes, male.
But that is for the weak of soul and mind and body.
Yes.
Only the weakest, whose bloodlines are inevitably bound to wither away and die, would prefer to top a Futanari 2B.
He's so
when
real.
The option to get topped by a Futanari
He's so
2B
real.
exists.
Yes, you're so
Now,
real.
A lecture
so
on
true.
the subject of Futanari.
Nothing but respect for my president. Nothing but respect for my president.
Would not be complete if we did not talk about Overwatch. This first-person shooter game developed by
We all knew it was happening. We all knew it was happening. We all knew that it was coming to this.
Blizzard Entertainment, released on 2016, took the world by storm. It's hard to really adequately describe how popular Overwatch was, from the fan-made content, cosplays, art, to the competitive scene, the casual gaming scene, all the videos on YouTube and clips online. Overwatch was simply a phenomenon. Okay, well students, you might be wondering, why are we talking about Overwatch? Well, it's because when it comes to Futanari, there is so much Futanari based on Overwatch. I have seen so much Overwatch Futanari. And not just Futanari, there's just so much not safe for work content of Overwatch out there. On the previously mentioned not safe for work.
Holy shit! 101,000? Oh my god!
Image hosting site, there are 101,367 results for Overwatch. That aside, what is the answer to the question, why is there so much Overwatch Futanari? Well, it's because playing Overwatch feels like you're getting f***ed.
Yeah, when Blizzard announced that they were just never gonna do the PvE mode for the game and they were gonna cancel it, I uninstalled it and I haven't looked back. And every day I thank God that every day I wake up praying to God, saying thank you, Lord in heaven, for giving me the foresight to uninstall Overwatch that day.
By every character that they have to give each character a dick so you can probably get by your teammates no matter who they play. Additionally, to answer the question, is it gay to like Overwatch Futanari?
Yes.
My answer, yes.
Yes, true.
And it's not because of the Futanari. It's because I can't think of anything gayer than liking Overwatch.